definitely important to be yourself, because there are people who are going to relate to it. That's what people got to realize, is that the key to, you know, your success kind of already lies within you. You don't have to force it or, you know, become anything to be, you know, you just got to kind of be you. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people got to realize. Because everything I do is, you know, kind of taken from things I've seen or things I've been through or things I've witnessed, like what I've seen, but it all comes from a very real place. It's very much like I need to write music as much as I need to breathe, because if I don't, things get pent up inside me and it feels like weight on my shoulders. And, you know, maybe I had that for years, but then realized by making music that I could put that elsewhere. And nowadays, you know, I kind of become addicted to it. It's kind of like you feel like this weight on you if you're not expressing, if you're not, you know, executing ideas or getting stuff out of your brain onto paper. Like, I feel like it all builds up, and, you know, it's just kind of become just like breathing for me. Like, I kind of have to do it. And I love it at the same time. My name is Abstract. I grew up a little bit in New Jersey, mostly in Wyoming, my formative years, I guess. Just kind of an interesting place for someone in hip-hop to grow up. But I actually grew up on a lot of ski and skate and extreme videos where people would use rap and hip-hop, and a lot of my friends were listening to rap and hip-hop. So when I moved out there, you would think that I got introduced to country music or something like that, but I come from a very skater, skateboard type community, and, you know, hip-hop was very prominent. So I started to get introduced to all these different things, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I always loved to write. Like, even my first grade teacher was like, "You're gonna write books someday." Like, that's what she thought I would do. But somehow along the way, I would just freestyle for fun, and then kind of my life took a crazy turn, and I started using music as kind of a way to vent and kind of put those feelings elsewhere. And then it just kind of morphed into this and kind of my life, which is wild. It's so diverse, like, because I grew up on a lot of the Beatles, I grew up on a lot of Billy Joel, I grew up on a lot of like songwriting. So like, I feel like my favorite part of all this music stuff, like, I love performing live, but it's definitely, it's a chore for me. It's something where, like, I feel much more at home as an introspective person, like in my own studio, and, you know, creating and writing, and that's where I feel comfortable. And then kind of going out onto the stage, unless I'm doing it a bunch, like, I get into a mode with touring where I feel much more extroverted and I feel comfortable with it. But it's taking things that, you know, I wrote by myself in a room, and I'm projecting it out to these people, and it feels very weird to, you know, take it from how it was created and then project it into a room of people, which is so different than the environment it was created. But it's definitely, it's important, because like all this stuff is me kind of breaking out of my shell, and it's important for my own personal growth, and I realize that. But I definitely love, like, first and foremost writing, because that's the stuff I grew up on. Like I was saying, like Billy Joel, the Beatles, the Monkees. Like my dad, I didn't even know about like top 40 radio until maybe I was 12, because my dad would just have like the Beach Boys and Billy Joel and the Beatles just on replay in our car, because he loved like the 60s and all that stuff, like the 70s as well. So that's really, growing up, that's all I heard. And then I started to, you know, find out about these other things. I actually originally was into like Good Charlotte, Arctic Monkeys, who else? Jet was a big group I was into at the time. And then as I started to get into more like hip-hop stuff, it kind of changed my whole view on music. And I loved like the sampling aspect, because even people would take stuff from, you know, B.B. King and, you know, blues and all this stuff, and it kind of turn it into a mosaic, if you will, like kind of deconstruct old music and turn it into something brand new, which I thought was so interesting. And so actually Swollen Members was one of the first things that I heard rap-wise, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy, because they were kind of painting different worlds, and like, yeah, of course it's like a little harder and like this battle axe rap, but it was just like a different way of, you know, hearing words used, and I just found it so interesting. Because I think the thing that, you know, M did, that Tupac did, that Biggie did, that, you know, even Slick Rick, it was painting your environment, it's painting your life. Like, a lot of times nowadays it's very much about a brand. It's very much like, what kind of people are you going for, instead of being like, what people will come to me by being me. And I think that's important. That's what Tupac did, that's what Eminem did. And, you know, it's bringing people to you, not being obsessed with, you know, who you can reach, but maybe just letting you be you and being real and honest. And, you know, I think that's where you find the real people, is because you're not forcing it upon anybody. You're kind of allowing them to come to you, and you're just kind of finding out who relates to you, and also being maybe someone who maybe didn't have someone to relate to. Maybe someone's not telling their story. So it's definitely important to be yourself because there is a market for it and there are people who are going to relate to it. That's what people got to realize, is that the key to, you know, your success kind of already lies within you. You don't have to force it or, you know, become anything to be, you know, you just got to kind of be you. I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of people got to realize.
Substance is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, substance is definitely, because everything I do is, you know, kind of taken from things I've seen or things I've been through or things I've witnessed, like what I've seen, but it all comes from a very real place. It's very much like I need to write music as much as I need to breathe, because if I don't, things get pent up inside me and it feels like weight on my shoulders. And you know, maybe I had that for years, but then realized by making music that I could put that elsewhere. And nowadays, you know, it kind of become addicted to it. It's kind of like you feel like this weight on you if you're not expressing, if you're not, you know, executing ideas or getting stuff out of your brain onto paper. Like I feel like it all builds up, and you know, it's just kind of become just like breathing for me. Like I kind of have to do it, and I love it at the same time.
In these fast times, chasing lifelines for a lifetime, I've had my heart in the right place at the wrong time with the right girl in another world. Maybe we would be together still if you hate us and resent that. I don't give a shit, I'll let it spill. I don't give a damn, I'll keep it real. Cause by now I hope you know the drill. I would never lie, young forever, I ain't never.
Yeah, so basically he kind of used the same name as my song, sampled the same song, did it in a terrible way. Didn't really do it justice. So what happened was, you know, he was able to get his onto Spotify, whereas I had, you know, fought to get mine on Spotify for years. And so every time someone would search for mine, his was getting the clicks. So it was a way to kind of funnel that hype and, you know, make whatever money you could off of it. And that's been done. It's more than just the him. Like it's been done, you know, maybe 10 different times. I'd have to call out people, because the problem is that Spotify doesn't screen. Spotify, even if they use a sample, it's not automatically found. So basically you have to manually take down stuff that uses illegal samples. So I actually had to let them know that, you know, this person is using this sample while I was kind of barred from using it on Spotify. And it's kind of like SoundCloud, YouTube, you upload something and they know right away that, you know, it's a sample or something illegally is being used in your music. Right. And Spotify is not like that for whatever reason. I don't know why. If YouTube and SoundCloud can do it, I don't know why Spotify can't do it. So that was just like, my big concern was people just trying to funnel the hype. Because that song, you know, it's at maybe 120 million views across the internet. And, you know, to see people trying to funnel that hype is like, it's kind of jarring, because I fought for a long time. I called, you know, Columbia, I talked to everyone, I tried to make it happen, and, you know, to see someone, you know, put up their version and be funneling all that hype and those views was really concerning. I've kind of just let it go at this point, because I have bigger things, and I'm on to bigger things, and, you know, whatever's the past.
So what happened? You never had it cleared up?
Never had it cleared up. We tried to. Both sides were interested in getting it done, and it's just, I think with big labels, it's just crazy. It's just hard to get anything done. I mean, you even have big artists who never get to put out their album. I mean, look at XB, who, you know, got shelved, finished his whole album, and, you know, got shelved. Like, he'll never be able to put that out because the label owns it. Like, that shit is crazy to me. But it's just like this independent grind is, you know, they don't want you to have leverage. It's very much like we are. They want to keep that, you know, we're not going to give in to, you know, even if they could make money off of me, it's like they're giving into whatever I created. So I understand it. I know the politics, but you just got to keep doing your own thing, make bigger and better things, just keep going. That's the way. There's live action, there's CGI, of course CGI animation, and then there's the album itself, which is a long project, but everything serves its purpose. It's not like there's filler. It's not like I made 100 songs and was like, these sound cool, let me put 20 songs out. Like, every song was made with purpose because it fills a hole in the story, or, you know, drives the story forward. And it kind of plays out where it's a mini movie that connects it to the last album, and then the rest of the movie plays out in an audio level from track 2 to track 19, 20, whatever it comes out to. And it's kind of, I wanted to, there's such an obsession from people with, you know, what is the big hit song right now? Like, what is the single? And people listen to singles and never listen to the album. And that was really concerning to me, because I love albums from forever, you know, Billy Joel's The Stranger, like, just like something you can play front to back, and there's, like, you know, individual things that stand. And also I look to Kevin Feige with, like, the MCU with stuff like this, you know, the idea that you can have things that stand alone but play better as a bigger picture. And that's what I wanted to do with the album, is kind of reel people in with the short movie, with the sci-fi movie, and also experiment with writing a script and, you know, directing and doing all this stuff that I've always wanted to do. Instead of waiting on those opportunities to present themselves, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I'll just wrap it into my new album. So I really wanted to, you know, reel people in and make them want to appreciate a big picture, as opposed to just what are the hit singles. Like, of course there's some bigger songs on it that I know that will do well, but it's definitely something where I wanted, you know, a full story to be told, and I wanted people to be like, okay, what happens? I want to see everything that happens and really enjoy a full project and a full vision. So that was really, this album is really an attempt at trying to cull, or, you know, kind of calm down an ADD generation and be like, you know, this is a piece of work, this is a cohesive body of work that I really want you to enjoy, and it has this big, you know, a big story and also an evolution for me. Just kind of me realizing some things, you know, about myself and learning about myself, and kind of trying to help people go through that evolution as well at the same time.
Now tell me, because I'm fully understanding. You showed me some things before we started this interview about the album.
Yeah.
But tell me the main concept. What's the concept?
So the main concept is, it's kind of long-winded, so you'll probably put this out after I have the name out.
Yeah.
So the name of the album is Superhuman. And the idea behind that, people know that I love comic books and, you know, all that stuff. So people may at first be like, oh, it's a superhero thing, but it's actually the idea of being superhuman, like all that entails, like the good, the bad, the things that a lot of the album is about, you know, God, ego, and myself, and how I fit into all this. Just kind of like that want to, you know, use your voice, you know, to be like spiteful, this revenge stuff, and, you know, that balance of being like, that's not why we do this. Like, a lot of the stuff these days is like, you know, flashing like how successful you are, how much money you have, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, art itself is not meant to be flashy, it's meant to be understood. And that's the thing with the whole album as well, is it's meant to be interrogated, it's meant to be digested. It's not meant to, you know, show you how successful I am from it. It's meant to, you know, convey ideas. And just like, you know, a painting at a museum, people may see different things in a painting. You know, they may connect to different colors or different, you know, characters or, you know, styles, and that's personal. That's the beautiful thing about art, is that people can see it from different angles and see a totally different picture. And that's what I think is important to keep within music, is this idea that, you know, it is a piece of, you know, art to be digested and thought about, and instead of just, you know, we all have times where we have a chip on our shoulder and we want a little bit of flex, and the album has that. But at the same time, it's very much, you know, using it as a tool to navigate my own understanding of, you know, reality and what we all go through. So I think that was important to try to convey with it.
I gotta ask you, what do you think? What's your thoughts on Russ?
My thoughts on Russ. I don't like to talk down on anybody. I hate, until I've met someone, I hate to, you know, cast any shade or anything. I understand the whole, you know, do it yourself, but I came up on a lot of the same YouTube channels that he did, and I know what they did for his, you know, career, and I would have no problem. Like, I hate the whole wave of like, fuck Russ, just to say fuck Russ. Like, that's just whack. Like, it's not just because Lil Pump said it, like, you're just like, oh yeah, fuck Russ. Like, that's fucking dumb, dude. Like, have a legitimate reason for hating anybody, and you shouldn't hate anybody. Like, hate is, fuck that. I just have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, because a lot of the same YouTube channels that I came up off of, you can look at his statistics and, you know, Swaggy Tracks, Best Modern Music, First Period Music, trying to think of Music Daily, yeah, Promoting Sounds. They all helped, and, you know, you never hear that in an interview. Like, there's a whole community of us, like, you know, all these guys, and, you know, who have been helped tremendously by these people. And, you know, to see someone who, you know, you can look at his statistics when he started to get posted and see where, you know, and that's my issue, is just to not give credit. I hate to not give credit to people, because I'm very much someone who's made by his team, and I met my team over the years, and, you know, they're all international, and I would be nothing without them, they would be nothing without me. We all feed off of each other, and that's very important to me. So that's my main thing.
Yeah, I just seen I got Rowlan. You know Rowlan?
Yeah, I just met Rowlan. Hell yeah.
How'd you guys link up?
So I know of him through Mickey Shiloh. He was talking about it. So she's super talented. She's just a really good songwriter, hell of a singer. We did a song called Reasons. He was talking about it, and he's really good friends with her. So that's how we kind of know each other. But that's the thing, is like this community, like even through Dylan, even with Brian, all these guys, Pimo up there. Like, it's a community. It's a really beautiful thing to really see everybody thriving, and, you know, everyone wanting to get better and, you know, just be the best that they can in whatever, you know, lane they're pursuing within it. It's really cool. I love it.
It's cool to have interviewed some of you, but I think it would be really cool if I get all of you in one room. It would be really dope.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It would be so cool.
Not early, but how'd you link up with Anthony Russo?
With it was just he reached out for that Changed Me song, and then we did that, and that was a fun one for sure. And then we did, what was the one? Better Things that he did with me, which is really fun, with Blue Lake on the production. Shout out to Blue Lake. Shout out to Craig, shout out to Joma.
You don't know how much I relate to that song, for real.
Hell yeah. No, it was very real at the time, because I did have this girl at the time who texted me like we were good, like we were fine. And then she was like, she sent me a text like, why would you do that to me, all this shit. And I was like, I thought we were good. Like, it must have been like some liquor or something that like you just went off. Like, so that was a very real song for me. And Anthony killed that. He's killing it right now.
Yeah,
I'm very stoked.
Even though he wanna, he's ignoring me, and it's cool.
I mean, he got to he's big time. I mean,
come on, man. You know what it is?
Not big time, but he's on a come up. I think also like he doesn't control some of his like social media and stuff like that, which I understand. Like, you're not sure how much.
From way before that, I told him like, listen, if you're ever in New York, when you pop off, let's do this interview. He said, okay, let's do it. Well, after that, after that tour with Jeezy, never again.
Fuck. No, it's hard. I understand this. Yeah. It's like, you know, it's just to have the team, you know, really be a part of it. And this was kind of a crazy idea of mine. It's not your typical album at all. And to have everybody on board and, you know, trust my vision and what I wanted to do is really, really cool. Like, it really means the world.
When you finally go, you're not gonna like superstar me like Logic or Russo?
No, I don't think that's in Russo's control. That's like,
on,
that's my thing. Don't feel bad. It's not personal.
He controls his DMs.
I don't know. You don't know.
If I was a pretty girl on Twitter, he would have probably right back.
But no, I think it's all. I think it's. I definitely. I put like the creative aspect of it above anything else. Like, I just love to create. I love to make. Especially with what I'm doing right now, it's definitely not like an appeal to, you know, have the biggest radio hits. It's really this attempt to tell a big story and get people invested in it, and also tell the story of Moon 5 too. So it's definitely, I really love the artistry behind it. Like, that's what I do it for. Like I was saying, like, I love to perform and it's fun, but I'm more comfortable sitting in my room and writing, and just like that aspect is where I'm most comfortable. And so that's my favorite thing out of it. You know, you never know though. Life is crazy, crazy evolutions. I always will try to keep it as down to earth as I can, because, you know, I didn't get here overnight. Like, I've worked, like, this is my 11th project. So I understand the worth in it, and I really appreciate anyone who supports it and, you know, publicly lets me know and, you know, keeps it going, which means the world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Live inside my mind, get lost in my studio until I catch a vibe. Don't know what day of the week it is, I'm losing track of time. It's beautiful, oh yes it is. It's beautiful, the way I live. It's beautiful, don't you agree? It's beautiful, I'm finally free. It's beautiful, oh yes it is. It's beautiful, the way I live. It's beautiful, don't you agree? It's beautiful.